So this year I'm going all square foot gardening for my annual garden. So I thought it might be a good idea just to share with everybody kind of what all I'm going to grow in all those gardens. So here's my first one. The north is on the left of all of my maps, just as a future reference, but I'm going to start with the cucumbers. We like to make pickles, lacto-fermented kind, kind of like my grandma used to make when I was a kid. We'll train those up on trellises on the north end, and I'm going to put nasturtiums kind of all over anywhere I can fit them where I don't think they're going to hurt what I'm trying to grow from a food production perspective, but I'm trying to keep the squash bugs out because they've really got me the last few years. And what I've read is that nasturtiums kind of repel them, so hopefully that'll work. I'm going to go with collards and spinach around those. I might get definitely just one collard here because I've got one in another bed. Same on spinach, but I might put a little more spinach depending on how much room I think those nasturtiums are going to take. But then I'll have okra. Only doing one okra because we're just not real big okra eaters. We like it kind of, a few times a year. We're paleo, so we do it with like almond flour. We cut them, slice them up, and fry them in almond flour batter, and they're pretty good, almost like you'd get at a restaurant. Not quite, but pretty good though. And then I'll do two things of kohlrabi, and just a note, when you see me with one or two, or I say first plant, second plant, I'm really talking about like succession planting, just because I'm not going to plant them all at the same time. Although, like for things like these lettuces and these cucumbers, I'm going to do them all at once. So, and these carrots, obviously, that just helps us to have kind of a steady supply of things that we want to eat fresh. But I'll get those kohlrabis. And then I have these listed as romaine, but I don't know if I'm going to go with romaine anymore. I have this like 5-year-old pack of romaine seeds from High Mowing Seeds that I've never had germinate, so I obviously got a bad batch. So I might end up going with something just like Salanova there, but it'll definitely be a head style lettuce. Then I'll do jalapenos. We like those decently. Radishes. I have two different kinds of radishes, so I'll probably do 8 and 8 and 8 and 8. I have cherry bell and then this dragon something or other that I can't remember the name right now. But um, arugula also. We'll do arugula. We have 3 or 4 different kinds that we have. Some we bought at the big box store, the home centers, and some I've ordered online. Arugula is just a champ, especially in a raised bed. I mean, it just grows like crazy. So much so that you really got to be out there getting it, because once it gets too big, at least in our opinion, it becomes so bitter. We just can hardly even eat it. And then we have a couple different kinds of mesclun. There's, the standard kind of gourmet, which is just a mixture of kind of loose leaf types. But then when you get those spicy mescluns, it's like arugulas and mustards and all kinds of stuff that, frankly, like 4 years ago, I didn't even know existed. My daughter and I like to, my youngest daughter and I like to just kind of try to pick out the flavors. We didn't know what arugula was or what mustards were before we had that spicy mesclun, and now we try to find out which ones of the individual plants in there we really like, and so that's what led us to actually having arugula and mustard as kind of separate plants in the garden. So that's pretty cool. And then this year is going to be the first year I try to actually can carrots. We've grown carrots before, well, every year really, but we just haven't had a lot that we end up harvesting. It is kind of a pain. I mean, everybody probably knows you got to sit around and peel them for a while, but I want to can some this year, just to have them in the cache, down in the pantry. So instead of having the stuff from the store. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably interplant all the tomatoes that I'll show you in this video with carrots around them too, because as you know, the book says tomatoes love carrots, or maybe it's carrots love tomato. Yeah, whichever way. I don't know which way it goes. One of those ways. But then also those mustards I was talking about, we'll put those in there. And then Matt's Wild Cherry is this really awesome cherry tomato plant that I got a couple years ago, and they're just teeny little, like nickel or dime sized cherry tomatoes, but it's really prolific. So much so that last year I didn't even try to grow these, and I had 3 volunteers come up. So I'm definitely gonna stick with these. They taste great. They're prolific. I mean, what more could you ask for from a garden tomato, especially the little ones like that? So for the second bed, like I said, it's not nearly as varied as the other bed, but um, On the north side, I'll have a trellis that I'm going to load up with spaghetti squash. I'm not sure whether I'll do 3 or 4 yet, but a little concerned about the weight of spaghetti squash hanging off of a kind of smallish trellis, so we'll see there. I might have to cut some back, but that'll be implanted with nasturtiums to help with the squash bug issue I was talking about a minute ago. I'll have two tomato plants, the Bush Determinant varieties in there. They're called San Marzano. They're a real good canning and paste tomato, but I'll talk more about those here in a few minutes. I'll do some more spinach over here and some cilantro in 2 places. The cilantro will be shaded by the zucchini and yellow squash plants, which themselves will be interplanted with nasturtiums, but that'll help hopefully keep the cilantro from bolting and going to coriander so fast, so that I actually have some cilantro when I have good tomatoes so that I can make some salsa. And then there'll be collard. The other collard plant I was talking about is going to be in this bed as well. And then it'll be kind of pepper central in the middle of the core. We do hot wax peppers because we like to make banana pepper pickled slices, kind of like what you get at Subway or the Vlasic makes. And then we do jalapenos here too, and those kind of go in with these to help kind of bring up the heat. My tomato bed, not real exciting, but I'm excited to see if it actually produces. My strategy in the past has been just to plant a boatload of tomato plants, and it's always backfired on me. I end up not taking care of them and getting the suckers, and I just got these things sprawling all over the place, and I don't actually probably get as much off of 20 as I would off of 5 to 10, well cared for tomato plants. So this year, like I said, I'm going all square foot gardening, so here's what I'm gonna have 6 bush type tomatoes that go between 3 of Amish paste tomato and 3 San Marzanos each, and they're all really good kind of meaty tomatoes. We've done them in the past. They're really good for canning, for like cubed and stewed parts. We use them for roasts mainly. And then I've got, just showing here, I've got 2 squares of indeterminate tomatoes, one being Valencia, which is the yellow kind, and the other is the Brandywine, which is kind of a really good kind of straight up eater that most people know about. I show here that I got 2 of them, but I'm gonna probably get more than that because I'm gonna do this technique called single stem pruning. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get, they say 1 per square, but I probably won't do 8. I'll probably do like 4 or 6 just to see what happens. That's it for the tomato bed. I guess one more thing I should throw in there is I'll probably interplant carrots in there, and if they come up, awesome. That'll be more carrot harvest. If not, no big deal. But the last bed that I have is the least exciting bed of all, because all it is green beans. Each square in a square foot garden bed will hold 9 bean plants. So I'm gonna do 16 squares with this type I have bush bean called Jade 2, and 16 of this type called Wyatt. Well, that pretty much sums up my square foot gardening plans for this year. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, leave a comment, let me know so I can get better. Otherwise, until next time, this is Mike from Lifelong Abundance saying see you later.